Hello guys, this is part 2 of our 8.4 notes, and we're talking about expanding binomials using Pascal's triangle. Now, we talked about this in class. This is Pascal's triangle. It's just a pattern of when you expand a binomial, what happens, how the math works to expand it. You will not be given this triangle, but there is a pattern to it, and you don't have to sit here and say, oh my gosh, I have to memorize it. There's only one thing you really need to remember, and then you can build it off of there. So we'll talk about expanding here in a second, but I want to show you guys how you can build it. You're going to get a 4-function calculator. I'm going to give you one. I'll show you how to do this on your calculators for the test in the next couple weeks. But what you need to remember is when you expand a binomial to the second power, like x plus 2, right? Say it's to the second power. That would be the second row of Pascal's triangle. So we write 1, 2, 1. That's all you need to remember, because when you talk about Pascal's triangle, right, this is how we build it. That's when the exponent is to the second power. Well, when it's to the third power, well, remember, on Pascal's triangle, everything on the outside is a 1. So this is my third row. Then you add. What's 1 plus 2? Well, that's 3. What's 2 plus 1? That's 3. So those are the numbers that are going to go on the top when you're using Pascal's triangle to expand when you have something raised to the third power. So let's say we have something raised to the fourth power. Okay, well, again, there's 1s on the outside, and then we're going to add again. So 1 plus 3 is 4, 3 plus 3 is 6, and 3 plus 1 is 4. So when you have something to the fourth power, that is the row that we're going to look at. So now we're going to say, okay, the fifth power. Again, 1's on the outside. So we're going to add, excuse me, so 1 plus 4 is 5, 4 plus 6 is 10, 6 plus 4 is 10, and 4 plus 1 is 5. So that would what we would be using for the fifth power. So say we have something raised to the sixth power, right? 1's on the outside. And again, we're going to add. So we have 1 plus 5 is 6, 5 plus 10 is 15, 10 plus 10 is 20, 10 plus 5 is 15, 5 plus 1 is 6. And then what about if I go ahead and I'm all crazy and I say we're going to raise something to the seventh power. So I have 1's on the very end. And then again, guys, we're just going to add. So 1 plus 6 is 7. 6 plus 15 is 21. 15 and 20 is 35. 20 and 15 is 35. 15 and 6 is 21, and 6 and 1 is 7. So that would be the seventh row. So there's your Pascal's triangle. And you guys, as soon as you get your paper, you should go ahead and build it so you can see what the numbers are that you're going to use. Now, the way that we use Pascal's triangle to expand, this is x plus 1 to the third power. This means x plus 1 times x plus 1 times x plus 1. Now, you guys are welcome to FOIL that out, multiply, combine like terms, all that stuff to check your answer. But your quiz is solely based upon expanding using Pascal's triangle. That means we need to use Pascal's triangle. So I say, okay, I'm raising to the third power. Well, the third row is right here. I'm going to write down the numbers at the top of the third row. So I have 1, 3, 3, 1. First step is you write down whatever row, whatever the exponent is that you're expanding to. Then we write down the first term. So in this case, it's an x. So I'm just going to write an x. It's good to always put in parentheses. You'll see why as we do later examples. My second thing I do is going to write my second term, which is a positive 1. All right, now we're all set up. Now we're going to talk about exponents. Your first term starts with the exponent that you're raising to. So I say 3, 2, 1, 0. Anything to the 0 power is 1. Your second term starts with 0 and goes up to the power you're raising to. It goes in the reverse order. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Anything to the 0 power is 1. That'll happen every time. If you guys want to check yourself again, your first term should start with the exponent you're raising to. Your last term over here should end with what you're raising to. And now we just distribute exponents where we need to and multiply numbers, stick the letters on the back. So I have 1 times 1 is 1 times x cubed is 1x cubed. 3 times 1 is positive 3, and then I have x squared. 1 squared is 1 times 3 is, again, positive 3, and that's x. Then I have 1 times 1 times 1, which is positive 1. And there you have expanded the binomial using Pascal's triangle. All right, so we're going to do more examples. Let's look at this one. Exact same thing here. We're raising to the third power. I'm going to write my terms, but the first thing I'm going to say is what row. So my numbers on top would be 1, 3, 3, 1. This is a little bit different because, yes, I have an x that I'm going to write 4 times. But in this case, I have a negative 1. And again, this is why I think parentheses are so important, because when you have negatives introduced, you just got to be careful that your sign's correct. So I've written down my row, third power. I've written down my first and second term. So I'm going to start with my highest exponent that I raised to. I start with 3, 2, 1. This is 0, so everything's 0 power is 1. Now, if you want to, you can go down here and go 3, 2, 1, 0. However you want to look at it. Does not matter. You need to start with the highest exponent and end with the highest exponent. Always has to be in that order. So now we distribute exponents and we stick our letters on the end. So 1 times 1 is 1, x cubed. Now I have negative 1 times 3 gives me negative 3, and then I have my x squared. Negative 1 squared is 1 times 3 is positive 3, and then your x. And then negative 1 cubed is negative 1 times 1 is minus 1. So if you notice, the terms of this are exactly the same as the first one. The only thing that's different is the signs alternate. And the reason that the signs alternate, positive, negative, is because there's a minus sign in the middle. If there's a plus sign in the middle, it's just plus the whole time. If there's a minus sign, it's going to alternate. So let's do these next two, these last two examples, and then you guys should be working on your quiz review. We'll go over it tomorrow, any questions you have, and prepare you for your quiz. So if I look at A, I have 2x minus 3 to the fourth power. So what is the fourth row? Well, that row is going to be 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. Now again, go ahead and build your triangle at the beginning so you have it. So I have my first term of 2x. I'm going to write that down. And again, I think parentheses would be a really good idea here. You'll see why in a second. My second term is a negative 3. So I have negative 3. And I don't squish everything together. I'm giving myself plenty of room. And I'm going to now place my exponents. So I'm raising to the fourth power. So I go 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Remember, you should always end that first row with 0. Anything raised to 0 power is 1. So here I'm going to start with 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Go ahead and check yourself. Did you begin with a 4 and end with a 4? Yes, this is exactly what you wanted to do. Now, before I go through and start my multiplication, I like to distribute my exponents and go ahead and simplify. So this 4 goes to the 2 and to the x. So this is really 16x to the fourth. This 3 goes to the 2 and to the x. So this is really 8x cubed. This 2 goes to the 2 and to the x. So this is 4x squared. This 1 goes to the 2 and to the x. So this is 2x. So now we don't really have to think anymore about our exponents. We can just go ahead and look at the coefficients. Now I'm going to do the same thing here. Negative 3 to the first power is negative 3. Negative 3 to the second power is positive 9. Negative 3 to the third power is negative 27. And negative 3 to the fourth power is positive 81. And now we multiply the numbers and stick the letters on the back. So 1 times 16 times 1 gives me 16x to the fourth. 4 times 8 times negative 3 gives me negative 96. And then I have x cubed. So 6 times 4 times 9 is a positive 216 x squared. 4 times 2 times negative 27 is going to give me a negative 216, and that's x to the first power. And then 1 times 1 times 81 gives me a positive 81. So there, ladies and gents, you have just multiplied the binomial 2x minus 3 times 2x minus 3 times 2x minus 3 times 2x minus 3. Combine like terms, all that good stuff. And you've used Pascal's triangle. It's a great, great, great tool. So let's go ahead and do B. B is x minus 2y. Well, what is the row that we identify for B? you should have your triangle built. You should be able to say it's 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. So there's my numbers at the top. So then I'm going to write my x. How many x's do I have? Well, every single number in the row should have first and second term. And then I have my negative 2y. Again, I believe it's a really good idea to keep your terms in parentheses. It helps when you have to distribute exponents. It helps when you're dealing with negatives, all that good stuff. So let's go ahead now and write our exponents out. So we're at raising to the 5th power, right? So I'm going to start with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Anything raised to 0 power is 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. However you want to go, that's fine. But you need to start with the highest exponent and end with the highest exponent. Now, I think it's a really good idea, guys, if you go ahead and distribute those exponents. I don't have to do anything with the top, with my x, because it's just one singular term, but I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, this negative 2y, this is going to become positive 4y squared. This is going to become negative 8y cubed. This is going to become 16y to the 4th. And this is going to become negative 32y to the 5th. Now, once we've done that, we can say, all right, we're going to multiply down our coefficients and stick the letters on the back. Another question that I get a lot, how should I put the, excuse me, how should I put the letters? Does it matter if X or Y comes first? I personally would say it's best if you put your letters in alphabetical order. So X comes before Y. That just, to me, it just looks better. But let's multiply. 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, whatever, is just going to give you X to the 5th. So now 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. I have X to the 4th and Y to the 1st. So now I have 10 times 4, that's a positive 40, and now get your letters. I have X cubed, Y squared. 10 times negative 8 is negative 80, and that's, write your letters, X squared, Y cubed. 5 times 16 is going to give me a positive 80, and my letters would be X to the 1st power, Y to the 4th. And then I have 1 times negative 32. It's going to give me negative 32, Y to the 5th. And there, ladies and gents, you have just expanded X minus 2Y to the 5th power using Pascal's triangle. So make sure you guys practice. I know the numbers on the review get really big. I didn't do that on purpose. I just didn't think much about them. But understand the process. Ask me lots of questions tomorrow in class.